We're talking about the growing list of stars who are going public with the problems they've had in the quest to stay young.
She was a world-famous supermodel, but Linda Evangelista says she was disfigured by a cosmetic procedure.
Lisa, right here. 23 years ago, Lisa Rinna had silicone injected into her lips to achieve this signature look, a supersized, sexy pout. But today, she's back to au naturel.
First tonight, a makeup artist from Jersey has told ITV Channel she could barely look in the mirror after having a lip job that went horribly wrong.
Imagine getting Botox injections at your local med spa and ending up looking like this.
Botched Botox, overfilled faces, plastic surgeries gone wrong. It seems like we're bombarded at every turn with reasons to run from cosmetic procedures and just age gracefully.
Everything is a facade. Everything is fake.
Yet pulling us in the opposite direction are the countless celebrities who, even though they have no medical background, seem to control the cultural megaphone. They promote sky-high beauty expectations on women and girls while pushing their own skincare lines and playing coy about the expensive procedures they themselves have had.
The celebrities or the person who has a full-time glam squad or photo editor is putting out this image that is just not real.
Setting the stage for a growing wave of body dysmorphia, eating disorders, and other mental health issues among women and girls.
You risk that feeling of never measuring up. I can never be pretty enough. I can never have enough.
Growing up, I was so hard on myself. I didn't have the best confidence. I always felt like I was like the little ugly duckling compared to my friends.
I think you have to be very, very careful with the facade that is portrayed these days, because life is real. And life is not always easy and fun and happy and filters.
We're so nervous to show our real self, right? But a lot of people have false pretenses that you're gonna come in and I'm gonna make you look completely symmetrical and balanced, but when that's just physically impossible.
Because it's so easy to put whatever you want out there, sometimes it's not factual or even realistic. And I see this a ton in my chair when patients come in and say, I want these lips, or I want skin like this, or a body like this, when we really have to break down like, hey, this person doesn't even look like this. And so it is creating a standard of beauty that is not just unattainable for the average person, but for anyone.
It's important for us to just always bring ourselves back down to earth and say social media is just that. It's just a platform, and just reminding ourselves to disconnect and be present in reality and the people in front of us.
Do we really, in fact, want to keep up with them? Is it even possible? There has to be a better way to look and feel beautiful. Can't we find a middle ground that neither shuns cosmetic procedures nor becomes enslaved to them?
My name is Alexis Pena. I am a full-time nurse injector.
My name is Taylor Siemens. I'm a nurse practitioner and I specialize in aesthetic medicine. Most of my time is spent training other clinicians in this industry how to treat patients effectively, but even more importantly, how to utilize that skill set to really pour into the confidence of their patients.
My name is Courtney Keene. I'm the owner of All the Things Med Spa. I'm a cosmetic injector, a licensed esthetician, and a professional laser technician. And I am in the loving on people business.
The world my children are growing up in is radically different than what I experienced, especially when it comes to thinking about beauty and what it means to be beautiful both on the inside and the outside. It's vitally important to me that my own daughter grows up with a healthy view of what it means to not only look and feel your best, but to be the best person one can be. What does it mean to be beautiful? I've been in the medical aesthetic community for over a decade, having personally sold and marketed millions of dollars worth of the biggest brands in the world, from Botox to Restylane and beyond. Truthfully, there is a beauty revolution unfolding before our eyes, driven by scientific innovation and medical artistry. But at the end of the day, outward beauty really is only skin deep. Women want to learn from sources they can trust, how to level up both their look and their lives. Our research has shown that this is best expressed in the Bianca lifestyle, pursuing beauty, intelligent decision-making, attractiveness, and noble character attributes. And yes, my daughter's name is Bianca, because empowering her is my primary mission.
Across cultures and throughout history, women have valued the harmony of inner and outer beauty, the balance of attractiveness with character, and a natural rather than distorted look. This approach honors and celebrates the dignity of the individual, instead of merely conforming to outward-only, cookie-cutter beauty standards. For example, Audrey Hepburn was a non-traditional, yet timeless beauty also admired for devoting her life to helping others around the world.
You especially wanted to change. Did you want to look any different?
Oh, yes. I mean, always as a child and then and even now, except now I sort of relax, I sort of accepted myself the way I am.
My own grandmother was considered the ugly duckling by her family. She went on to travel the globe, spoke 4 languages fluently, earned her doctorate, and became a highly successful entrepreneur and civic leader before passing away at the ripe age of 106 years old. She also had a nose job. She's a great example of a woman who embraced medical aesthetics to look and feel her most confident self, but whose true beauty radiated from within. My goal is to harness the power of great storytelling to educate women about medical aesthetics and empower them to balance their inner and outer beauty. And key to reaching this goal is to increase the influence of medical aesthetic professionals, the true experts in this space, and to help them amplify their voices above all the noise. So we gathered 3 amazing providers to hear about their own personal aesthetic journeys and how they're applying the Bianca mindset to live a beautiful life and leave a beautiful legacy.
What is it about that Bianca ideal that resonates with each of you so much?
I grew up in a really small town, and there were very few people. By few, I mean one, my sister, who looked like me. Everyone else was blonde hair, blue eyes, typical American family. And so for me growing up, I had big puffy hair and a much rounder figure. I didn't really look like my friends. And so I admire and aspire to have this Bianca to look up to. I wish I would have had that as a kid, to know there are other ways to be attractive or aspire to of being a good person, not just focusing on how we look aesthetically. I love that you made this for your daughter, for her to even know not only is she truly Bianca, but she's not aspiring to be like anybody else in this world, but a true version of herself.
I do see myself being a Bianca, someone who pursues that inner and outer beauty and putting in the work. I really want to be a complete whole woman internally. Beauty is much more than what the eye sees. Being a Bianca means remaining grounded. It's very well attainable, that it's not far reach, that you don't need millions of dollars, to be that kind of woman.
Growing up with a deformity, my only option was inner beauty and to seek beauty in other places. Honesty, integrity, character, those were things that I had to nurture from a very, very young age. It was all that I had. When I think of a timeless beauty or someone that personifies a Bianca, I think about my mom. Years and years of dealing with health issues for me as a little girl, and just never complaining. So you can't outgive her, you can't outlove her. She's a remarkable woman that would do anything for anyone. About 2 months into my little life, a tumor started forming on my face. It was right underneath my right eye. That, at 2 months, started a journey of surgeries and trying to find the latest and greatest fix. As a child, I didn't want anyone to look at me. I didn't want to show my life. I didn't want you to see what I saw. Growing up with a tumor is very hard. It's very hard, especially mine. It was different every day. It's a blood tumor. So some days it was black, some days it was purple. Some days it was red. So the jokes never stopped, you know what I mean? It never got old because it was continuing to change. So I was the freak show. I was the ugly girl. I was, ooh, don't go near her. Something's wrong with her. About 16 surgeries on my eye, on the tumor alone, and then it would push my eye. So then we had a lazy eye situation, and I was cross-eyed, and just years of probably sad. You know, there were a lot of sad days. There was a lot of deep insecurities that form. You know, kids can be so cruel. I had amazing parents that told me I was beautiful every day of my life, and that I was gonna be a world changer, and that the Lord had called me for greatness. And I began to start believing that, you know. I'm getting a little bit older, and so the mocking and the being made fun of didn't hurt near as bad as I got older, but there were so many deep insecurities. Let me be clear. There were some issues that I needed to work through, but I'll tell you, the last surgery, I went into that surgery with a different mindset. I thought, you know what, if these are the cards I've been dealt, I'm gonna play the hand. So if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great. At 21, I finally had my final surgery, and they were able to get it, and it hasn't come back.
My daughter and I often have conversations about being a good person, helping others, being kind to people, and just being respectful because she does see me take care of myself, you know, eating healthy, working out. She starts to look at herself in the mirror as well. She is becoming critical of herself, and, you know, me just having those difficult conversations with her, telling her, you're beautiful the way that you are. You're 7 years old. Love who you are, you know, be a good person. I know that she's gonna carry that with her as she gets older, and we're just, you know, changing the mold of our generations to come.
I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. My parents had me when they were 15 years old. I give her so much grace now because I think back, wow, she was just a kid doing the best that she could, trying to raise a kid. I am the first in generations in my family to become educated, like to go to college. I guess I didn't really reflect on it until I became an adult working in my profession, of how many barriers I've broken. It is really important to me that my daughter sees me working on my inner and outer beauty. We're literally always together. So in the morning when we wake up, I say, hey, get up, it's time for school. Here's your uniform, you gotta make sure it's ironed, you gotta make sure you're neat and your shirt's tucked in. Okay, let's comb your hair. Are we brushing your teeth?
I know my mom's intentions were always pure and very good, but she had a lot of thoughts around how we looked and how we presented. I think a lot of that had to do because we are of mixed race in a very small town. And so I think that brought a lot of pressure to her for us to look a certain way or behave a certain way. And so lots of conversations around looking pretty or having your hair fixed a certain way. You know, eating a snack also meant we had to run around the block a couple of times or exercise.
So many people ask me how long I've been in the industry, and my answer is always, it's a loaded question because I feel like it was just the natural thing for me. You know, it took me a lifetime to look in the mirror and love what was looking back at me. And if I could help my patients not have to go through that and immediately love what they see when they look in the mirror, then mission accomplished. I think back in the day, filler, Botox, those were all secrets. People didn't talk about that. That was, I never, what? You would put something in your face? Well, I think now that so many people are open and are talking about it, it's becoming a common thing. It's not near as negative as it once was due to people talking about it.
Balancing inner and outer beauty, to me, it means taking in the whole person in consideration when treating their outer beauty. And so their skin, their mental health, their face, body, all of those things, we want to keep balanced. So they're not looking or feeling like someone else, but they're just feeling like a more empowered and engaged version of themselves. And so this is something that I really had to grapple with for many years on am I wrong for being in an industry where I'm continually helping people change how they look? But it really helped frame a new narrative for me of understanding we're not here to change the person. We are here to help them level up or elevate how they feel about themselves. Leveling up your look for my patients really means embracing the parts that you love about yourself and using these services to highlight those things. And so let's instead talk about the things that we can do to impact your beauty and what you are trying to achieve yourself in a much more realistic manner.
A lot of people don't realize that if I can add a little volume and take away some lines, it's going to give you confidence. And I think that's beautiful. I would have done anything to build my confidence back in the day. And so if I can do that for someone else, then why wouldn't we? Let's just be transparent and talk about it. And I'm the kind of girl, if I find something that works, I want to tell everybody.
I don't feel like I am adding filler. I feel like I'm adding confidence. I don't think I am removing a wrinkle. I'm removing insecurity. Every person that I touch, my prayer for them is that they would see themselves as we see them. These women walk in, they're so stunning and they're so beautiful, and all they want to do is fix what they see in the mirror. So, leveling up to me is just adding confidence and security in each person that walks through the doors.
I'm hearing more and more from providers like yourselves that they're having more in-depth conversations with their patients, not just around the safety and efficacy of medical aesthetic treatments, but also around psychosocial dynamics and even going into mental wellness. Where do you see that intersection, that balance with regard to inner and outer beauty, health and wellness for yourselves as medical aesthetic providers?
I think a balance is key, and I do think it is our responsibility to introduce that to the conversations with our patients. Of course, they're there because they want to enhance or change little things about themselves, but I feel personally responsible to make sure that they're approaching that in a healthy manner. And so we're talking about health, we're talking about good skincare programs, we're talking about their medical wellness. We need to make sure that once we do the treatment, that they're actually feeling more confident and we're not just hiding the insecurities for it to come out in a much bigger way in the future.
I think there's still a lot of women who have a lot of concerns around these products and procedures. Are they safe? Are they going to look natural? Are they going to become someone who they're not? On the other hand, I think there are a lot of influences, whether it's from celebrities, influencers, social media, that may create a lot of confusion, put pressure on women or young women in particular around what they should or could be doing.
I think being a consumer in this industry right now can be really confusing because, 10 years ago it was just trusting your provider and the experience they had and the knowledge they had. But now patients are trying to listen to us. They're listening to pop culture, the influencers in pop culture. And so it's hard for them to know what is just a trend or something that really is in their best interest when it comes to their aesthetics. And I see that confusion from my patients daily, trying to decide if they trust a doctor's opinion or my opinion or even the celebrity's opinion who doesn't really have education over these treatments.
Filler has become such a big thing, right? Big lips. And I think some patients just focus on that. Like they come in and they start to see a wrinkle on their lip and they're like, I need more.
These lips are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're not great for everyone.
If I am not the person to point it out to them, I give them a mirror, take a picture of them, and just having those healthy conversations with them.
There's a lot of trends going on, and I don't think they're for everybody. And I think starting from the second that they walk in and going back to what I talked about, honesty, integrity, it's all about a relationship. So having a patient sit in my chair and just have real conversations. And I think it's very important for a provider to tell them it's not going to make them look their best.
I think aesthetic trends are a really tricky line. I think the bigger question is diving into why a patient is wanting that done. And if their answers really turn around to that it is just something they want to do to feel confident and it's something that they feel will help them feel more like themselves, I am all for it. It's a totally different conversation to me when all of those reasons trickle down to a celebrity did it, or their partner or potential partner is going to view them in a better light. Those are two very different reasonings to go through with a procedure for me, and I think those really need to be explored before someone commits a lot of time and finances to moving forward with a trendy procedure.
If we as providers don't have the utmost integrity and honesty, then it's probably not a good idea to stay in this industry. It's so, so important to be very, very transparent and honest.
Peer pressure is high on both sides, whether people are not getting treated or whether they are getting treated. And I think as clinicians, we need to be equipped with the ability to provide services and outcomes while recognizing why our patients are getting things done.
Wouldn't it be so fun if we had more transparency because it's relatable? My skin's not perfect today, or oh my goodness, I'm starting to see some age underneath my eyes. I feel like it's just so much more relatable when we're honest.
As aesthetic providers, it starts from us and like showing that transparency, especially on social media, trying to not, use the filters to camouflage, a pimple or like an acne scar or like blemish on our face.
Wouldn't it be so fun if the trend was just to be who we are?
So as providers, how do you gain the trust of your patients with regard to the recommendations, the guidance that you give to them, even the boundaries that you set or that you're recommending that they set for themselves as you look out for what's in their best interest, not just with regard to their pocketbook, but also the results that are really going to be their best match and meet the objectives that they're really looking for?
I think education is key, and establishing that trust is of the utmost importance from the moment that we meet them. I mean, we're all striving to earn our patients' trust, and also really evaluating if we trust them and how they're viewing things in the same light. Because when the point comes that we need to say, no, this isn't for you, or we need to start fresh, we need to do certain things, they need to know that we are looking out for their best interest.
What does the conversation look like when you have a patient who's really dead set on a treatment or procedure that you really believe, based on your professional experience, is not the right choice for them?
I have a key phrase that I will use. I say, I'm so sorry, but I don't believe that I have the skill set you are seeking to provide the results that you want. We're not counselors, we're not therapists. I know the limitations of my scope of practice, but I also know how to lovingly let a patient know this is just not going to be something I'm willing to sign up for today.
I think it's so important as a provider to never step over line. If I'm not comfortable doing something, I'm not going to do it. And there's a very, very sweet and kind way to let them know that.
Is the goal then that they will have an opportunity to pause and self-reflect about the solutions that they may be pursuing?
Absolutely. I think that is where we can say that's what turns something from a trend to a standard of care, that we are here to provide the best outcomes for patients, not hit the best numbers in syringes of filler sold or number of lasers done, but that we are truly caring for people in that way. We all have enough patients to go around, but it is really reliant on all of us standing up for those patients and helping them understand when it's time to take a break.
Sure, you can always throw a little more something in someone's face, but it's just not what's best for them. And I think if we're it goes back to previous questions on honesty and integrity, and we have to draw the line.
Living a beautiful life, it requires daily work of understanding proper diet, nutrition, how to work out when you have injured muscles, how you alter things. And aging gracefully is the same to me. The right skincare and finding the right clinician and doing work in yourself to make sure that you are happy with yourself and more importantly, engaging with others to help them feel like they are living their best life and helping guide them along that as well.
As we embrace then the aging process, we also embrace who we are beyond just simply our outward appearance, but also our mental wellness, our physical fitness, even our spiritual wellness.
Aging is a beautiful thing. To age is human, and we have to enjoy the process. So we don't spend our lives hyper-focused on our appearance that 20 years pass and we didn't enjoy our life. We didn't love the person that we were because we were so hyper-focused on how we looked to others.
It is a balance. It's making sure that we're spending time in all of those areas. And so I agree, aging is human. It's a privilege, and it sure beats the alternative, which is not having a chance to age at all. Whenever we as providers are having to grapple with the decision of putting another syringe in or doing another treatment versus saying no to our patient, I really evaluate where we started with that patient, how they are speaking about themselves that day.
We can make you look pretty on the outside, but man, if you're ugly inside, I personally feel like it doesn't even matter. I can add a little volume to your face. I can add a little volume to your lips. All of those are very pretty. Those are very pretty attributes, but integrity, honesty, character, these are attributes that I find beautiful. One of my favorite clients in particular is a beautiful 73-year-old woman that had never done anything in her entire life. Not Botox, not even a facial. She came to me and said, "What can you do?" And she now walks in, she looks like a completely different woman, but it's not the filler. It's the pep in the step. She loves to go to the grocery store now. She loves to put makeup on. Giving her a little confidence has completely turned her life around. If there's anything that I could do for someone that walks into our practice, it's that I can make them feel like they're the most important person in the world, that they're special, that they are valued.
It's time to reclaim a more holistic and time-honored approach to beauty. We can level up the way we look and feel without losing our identity. This is where the empowering role of the licensed medical professionals who practice what's known as aesthetic medicine come in. Because who is better qualified to help the millions of women who are curious about cosmetic procedures, but also concerned about looking or even becoming fake?
So much goes with the times, and something the public liked, let's say 5 or 10 years ago, might not appeal to them now, and you can't predict. You can try and you can follow your instincts and do the best you can. I was born with my own instincts, which I try to stay true to, because I followed my instincts and they've brought me nothing but blessings and good fortune and terribly kind people to work with. And so far, it's been all right.